Good day, everyone, sir and ma'am, especially to our professor, Ma'am Jacqueline Macahis. I am Villarmente Baby Reina, and I am your presenter for today. And my report is all about the general principles of administration and supervision. So let's start. First, the school administration and supervision must be democratic. So it means we have to recognize individual differences, repeat one's personality, and extend consideration to all. So it aims to give the fullest measures, the freedom to the individual, maximum to develop his capacity, so as long as the development does not interfere or it conflicts with the welfare right of others. Next. The school administration and supervision must be cooperative. So this implies group action. This, their strength in cooperation and progress results from combined efforts of all administrators, supervisor, teachers, parents, and students. There is also a cooperative effort that encourages greater efficiency. So the third one, the school administration and supervision to be effective must be scientific. So it emphasizes that the use of the scientific principle and that the solution of problems should be based on facts. So the effort is to discover rather than to prove. The best way to determine whether a being is present or not is to look and see. But sometimes we only see those things we look for. So being an administrator and supervisor, we must be fact conscious. Fourth, the school administration and supervision must be based on accepted educational philosophy. A philosophy is a background of theory of knowledge and beliefs which explains and justifies a selected way of life. So educational philosophy affects the thinking and results of the actions of the readers who control public schools administration and supervision. So the outstanding point here is the integration of personality which possess a well-developed standard of values. So giving consistency and unity to all, thinking, feeling, and acting. Next one, the school administration and supervision must be creative. So the term creative here is initiating, suggesting, devising, inventing, and experimenting or producing something new. So creative administration and supervision encourages growth. So this provides opportunity for the teachers and pupils to grow through the exercise of their talents and abilities under the expert and professional guidance and also by our encouragement. So the next one, the school administration and supervision must be evaluated in the light of their results. So it has been pointed out that only by knowing as accurate as possible results of improved The effectiveness of administration or supervision, for example, may be determined either through application of criteria designed to judge the value of the activities performed or through the measurement of the immediate outcomes of the programs. So the next one, responsibility and control in matters of school administration and supervision must run parallel throughout the system. So this principle of parallelism of duties is the particular spirit to which the school administrator or supervisor is assigned and for which he is responsible. So in the distribution of functions between the school principal and division superintendent, for example, so this principle governs. So the principal is in charge of school in all phases of activities of a school, such as class programs, student organizations, promotion, and supervision of instructions. So the next one is the eighth one. The school administration and supervision must be distinguished from supervision. So as we know that these two are not synonymous in meaning. Misconceptions regarding this causes more misunderstanding and possibly more neglect of duties. So there must be a clear and complete specifications of functions. So remember that. So next, the school administration and supervision must be preventive and constructive. So any help that an administrator or supervisor can give to the teacher so that they may avoid mistakes. Commendable, so this kind of assistance is especially valuable to the beginners or in a school or to the newcomers to the teaching profession. Next, the school administration and supervision must be centered on child growth and development. So this much concern to the teachers being an administrator or also in the classroom activities. So we must aim to provide conditions favorable to child development of children or learners. We should guide the children to determine their difficulties and potentialities and the most suitable type of education, which will make them possible to grow mentally, physically, morally, emotionally, and socially. So the last general principle of administration and supervision is the school administration and supervision must be flexible. So flexibility here is characterized by its being adapted and readily adjust to meet the requirement of changing conditions. So this also covers the following. Flexibility of school building, flexibility of objectives and training procedures, flexibility of instructional materials and devices, and the last is the flexibility of the school requirement and standard norm. So those are the 11 general principles of administration and supervision. So again, let's go back again. First, the general principle of administration must be democratic, it must be cooperative, scientific, be creative, and it must align to the activities which is the school administrator and supervisor must have the conditions of the child. So that would be all of my report. I hope you understand and I hope you have the learnings, and thank you for listening.